What sweet relationship habits are actually toxic? Story 1. Always checking Life 360 like it's a full-time job. Non-stop calling and asking, "What's up? Why are you at?" Blasting it in the group chat. Curious why they're at. Texting like crazy when they're apart. Hitting up friends because they can't get a hold of their partner, saying, "It's an emergency, they're not picking up." Even though they just texted 15 minutes ago and there's really no emergency. They're just super anxious about the whole thing. Story 2. The non-stop posts on social media about their partner with these long essays about how much they adore them. They act like it's just a sweet love note. It totally feels like they're shouting, "This is mine, hands off," even if it looks inviting. Or maybe they're just trying to reassure themselves that everything's cool. It's always my forever, while their relationship is actually falling apart. I can't even picture being in a relationship where I'm so unsure that I gotta post about us every 5 minutes to let everyone know we're together. Story 3. My ex would dig his fingers into my armpits so much that I'd be sore the next day, and he'd pinch my chest to tickle me. He would actually get mad when I asked him to cut it out because he thought he was just messing around. Story 4. I used to date this guy who would always grab my stuff, and whenever he noticed it bugged me, he'd give this goofy face and say, "What's yours is mine, and mine is yours." So I started stashing my things away. I wasn't about to share my toothbrush, deodorant, or my pricey face lotion, because a lot of other stuff messes up my skin. He thought it was adorable to share all that, but when I got into my next relationship, I became super protective over my things and would get kinda annoyed if they wanted to borrow anything. I've moved on now, and my current boyfriend totally respects my stuff. But wow, I really didn't like that back then. Story 5. I've always found it kind of weird and disrespectful when someone orders food or drinks for both people, even when the other person is like, "Nah, I'm good, I want something different." It'd be cool to be that in sync with someone, but if they can't even hear you on something as simple as this, then maybe they're not really paying attention to the bigger stuff either. Story 6. Always bragging about their happiness on social media, but honestly, like 90% of the time, one person in those couples isn't really vibing and just feels the pressure to act like everything's all good. They've been telling everyone and their pet how amazing their relationship is for ages. And when things start to go south, they still keep hyping up someone they can hardly tolerate. Classic case of social media facade. Like, congrats on the perfect relationship that's apparently not at all a total lie. It's wild how people would rather post a filtered pic of their happy couple moments than just admit they're stuck in a situation that makes them miserable. Can't let the Insta followers down, I guess. Relationships are hard enough without the added pressure of performing for an audience. But hey, keep that highlight reel going while you quietly suffer in the background. Sounds fun? Story 7. I think most of the stuff about romance is pretty much already talked about, so let's dive into family vibes instead. You know when your parents go snooping through your stuff because they say they're just trying to keep you safe? Yeah, that's a total invasion of privacy, and it just makes kids way less likely to share anything with you. Honestly, I still have trust issues from that, even though I'm not hiding anything. Story 8. So there was this dude I used to date who would totally try to stop me from doing the stuff I love because he said he was worried about my safety. Honestly, it felt super controlling. It seems like a lot of people mask their need to control others with this fake concern for their well-being. Story 9. Wow, some folks here aren't exactly chill, huh? Swiping hoodies and acting like they own it and being rude about it is not cool at all, super toxic. The constant teasing crosses the line into not-so-fun territory. And honestly, things like ignoring personal space, not having any other pals, and blowing up my phone way too much are definitely not nice to begin with. You know, it's hilarious how some people think that being a total jerk is just their quirky charm. Like, no, Karen, stealing my hoodie and claiming it's yours isn't sweet. It's just lame. And constant teasing. Top-tier cringe. If your idea of friendship is trampling over someone's boundaries, maybe it's time to reevaluate your social skills. Honestly, some folks just need a serious reality check, or at least a meme showing them that being a toxic human isn't a personality trait. Story 10. Always blocking and unblocking on the phone, social media, you name it. Some folks do this to test the person they blocked. They believe that if their partner goes all out to reach out again, it must mean their love is the real deal. Story 11. So, my ex got all worked up, because I mentioned that he didn't need to hop in the shower with me every time we crashed at each other's places. And I wanted to have my own shower time. He was also kind of salty that we hung out for over 4 hours before I finally gave him a kiss. And it felt like he was low-key begging for it. Not to mention we just had a fight, and he never even said sorry. He sent me some cash out of the blue without me asking, but when I broke things off, he wanted it back and said I'd taken advantage of him. Story 12. Always bending over backward for your partner. My ex, total textbook narcissist, did literally everything for me from dawn till dusk. They'd whip up all my meals, even mix my drinks, and swoop in to take over whenever I attempted to do anything on my own. They wanted to fix every little issue for me. It got to the point where they would get all worked up and playfully guilt-trip me whenever I tried to handle something myself. Like, "Oh, so you're saying you don't love me anymore? I see how it is." People kept saying how lucky I was to have someone who cared so much. But honestly, it really got under my skin. It started messing with my head during the months we shared a place. I felt less capable, even outside the relationship, which was super weird, since I've always been super independent. Story 13. Kicked off with, "Hey, you don't need to be wandering back and forth to work by yourself. It's sketchy out there. Let me give you a ride." Then when I got wheels, he was like, "Don't waste your gas. I'm still going to drive you to work and back." Or, "Aw, you're off to hang with your friends? I was really hoping you'd chill here with me so we could vibe more. I miss you." Even though we were literally together every single day, he thought all this stuff was super romantic. But honestly, those were all red flags for me. The first one wasn't a huge deal, but since I'm pretty independent, I wasn't really into it. I let it slide though, because I'm only 4'11" and living in the downtown area. So I get why he didn't want me walking around, especially at night. Still, not my favorite thing. I had pepper spray, and while I know that doesn't always help, it made me feel a bit tougher. And if I ever felt a little sketchy at night, I'd either ask a coworker for a ride or just run home. Haha. Story 14. Always being up in each other's business in the first few weeks or months of a relationship can totally make you overlook other parts of life. You might even notice your work slipping a bit during that time. Plus, not keeping up with your friends' and family's needs and wants. It's super important for both of you to connect physically and emotionally, but don't forget about each other's spiritual side too. But, hey, you don't gotta be glued to each other 24/7. That's just not good for you. Story 15. Making up reasons for your partner when they do something that bugs you. Like, "You're my girl and I care about you. Maybe you didn't realize, why would I be bothered that you threw nuts in my meal, even though you really can't stand them?" Classic case of love is blind, huh? I mean, nothing says true love, like choking down some nuts you totally hate just because your girlfriend didn't read the ingredient list. Gotta love those "I'll just pretend it's fine" vibes. But honestly, if you're gonna keep eating things you loathe, do it for the love of pizza or tacos, not nuts. Just communicate, fam. It'll save you both some serious digestive drama down the line. Story 16. My hubby thought he spotted me in some random person's car, so he went all out trying to run them off the road and do some crazy stuff to show me he's not cool with me cheating. LOL, he's just super into me. Girl, seriously, don't share this with anyone, OMG. Story 17. We're all about being open with our phones and sharing everything. No secrets here. If my pals share something with me, they should just know I'm likely telling my partner too. Giving up your own thoughts, friendships, and individuality isn't cool or a sign of being reliable. If holding on to your own stuff causes insecurity or jealousy, then they don't really trust you. That's just toxic vibes. Story 18. It seriously only takes 10 seconds to shoot me a quick text and see how I'm doing. I just miss ya. I know you're grinding at work for 9 hours, but why haven't you hit me up? I miss you. Are you messing around on me? Can't you just text me back when you're taking a bathroom break? Oh man, when I saw people saying, "You can just text me back during your bathroom breaks if you're swamped at work." It's like I can't even take a break without feeling like there's a task tied to it too. Story 19. I used to have this ex who would show up at my job all the time. I was a bartender and waited tables, so I guess she thought it was cool since it was a people job. But really, she just wanted all my attention and would freak out whenever I chatted with my customers. She thought I was flirting with everyone. Plus, she'd get super wasted at the bar sometimes, and it was just cringe and totally unprofessional. That sounds like a real masterpiece of relationship dysfunction. I mean, showing up at your job like it's an episode of The Bachelor is next level clingy. Getting jealous of customers? Like, congrats, you just made tipping awkward. And the whole getting drunk and making a scene bit? Classic move. Definitely the kind of vibe that makes you want to hide behind the bar and pray for a blackout. Just sounds like she needed some self-awareness. And maybe a solid hobby that isn't stalking. Story 20. Telling your partner where you are less than 6 months into dating. The only time my partner and I shared our locations before we moved in together was when we were on a trip, just to stay safe, since we were usually together anyway. Once we started living together, I asked him to share his location, I do the same, so I could have dinner all set when he gets home. Story 21. When they act like they're doing something nice for you and keep pushing it, but deep down, it's really just for their own benefit, and they disguise it as for you. Honestly, if they were straight up about it, they'd admit it's more about them or just to flex in front of others that they hooked you up. And then, later on, they might throw it in your face like, hey, remember when I did that for you? Story 22. I might get some flack for this, but those location tracker apps kinda give me the creeps. My boyfriend has his Garmin set up to buzz me if he wipes out while cycling, but honestly, I don't need to know where he is all the time, and I'm sure he feels the same way. Story 23. Picking up pricey and super important stuff without chatting about it first is a no-go. Some things gotta be talked over to make sure you're snagging what your partner really wants. For example, I was saving up for a bike I had my eye on, checking out a few options. Then, out of the blue, my girlfriend surprised me with a bike that was totally not my style, and she was kinda bummed when I didn't flip out with excitement. It really gets under my skin when I see those adorable posts where one person surprises their partner with a puppy or a kitten. Like, come on, that's a living creature that requires a ton of love and care. Definitely needs to be talked about first. That's like getting a vegan a steak for their birthday and being confused when they don't burst into tears of joy. Honestly, it sounds like a classic case of, I thought I knew better than you. Surprise gifts are awesome, unless they completely miss the mark. Like, did she even ask if you were into that particular bike, or was she just channeling her inner Oprah? Communication is key, folks. Just imagine if she'd gotten you a unicycle instead. That would have been a fun ride. Story 24. I care about you. I care about you even more. It totally overlooks how much someone loves and makes them feel like their love isn't good enough since the other person cares more. Love ain't a race to see who can care more. Story 25. So, there's this adorable girl I know. I've heard some tales about her, like how she once got her boyfriend an iPhone for his birthday. Their relationship wasn't exactly rock solid and wrapped up in about 6 months. I sometimes catch myself wondering if she's still shelling out that $30 a month. But seriously, can you imagine the kind of gift she's hoping for on her birthday? Story 26. Making their significant other their whole vibe is super cute at first, right? Like, they're my everything. I want to do all the stuff with them. But then you start to see their friends and hobbies kind of fade away, and it's like they lose a piece of themselves. Their partner ends up doing the same thing. And when the love starts to fade, it just turns into this adorable kind of reliance on each other, you know? Story 27. Special tasks like whipping up meals, tidying up, doing laundry, keeping the house in check, lawn maintenance, and all that good stuff. I totally get that some folks are just really good at certain things, and sometimes schedules make it tricky to split the work. But when stuff doesn't get done just because someone's not around or feeling under the weather, that's not cool. Also, working together and sharing the load can really help us feel connected, and our brains get a nice boost from trying new things we're not super skilled at yet. And hey, what happens if there's a breakup or your partner passes away? Story 28. Whoa, I picked up a few things from a relationship I peeped years ago, and I'm pretty sure it's only gotten messier since then. We were inseparable. We've always felt like we were hitched. We called each other hubby and wifey before we even tied the knot. He always wanted to stick close to me. We were hardly apart, tangled loyalty and forced roles. But he's grown up now, changing who someone is to fit your story. We had our struggles, but that's what made it so intense. Forced bond through tough times. I'm a bit of a weirdo. I don't act or think like most girls. I'm kinda more like a dude in some ways. Cool girl vibe, setting up the narrative. He's not really into talking about feelings, but he shows it in his own way. Avoiding emotions, downplaying actions that keep him easygoing. There was no real growth happening. It was more of a show. Story 29. This thread really needs to be closed. It's kind of funny how this convo is just spreading negativity and creating a cycle of bad vibes. Every relationship is its own thing, so don't compare yours to any other ones you've heard about or seen. If you're doing that, it might be a good idea to hit up a couples therapist with your partner. Or if you're single, just chat with a personal therapist. Gotta love it when a thread turns into a therapy session for the entire internet, right? It's like people think they can just slap their experiences onto everyone else, like it's a universal truth. Newsflash, human relationships aren't one size fits all, dude. Maybe instead of scrolling through Reddit trying to validate their feelings, they should just talk to a therapist or something. But hey, who needs that when you can just wallow in an echo chamber? Story 30. Maybe it's just me, but it's kinda wild how some people, when they don't get the response they want, say stuff like, I want you to make me stick around, or I want you to want me to be here, even when my vibe is totally saying, you're welcome to hang out and chill. Story 31. Playful sparring. My bro and sister-in-law always crack up while they lightly hit each other a bit harder each time. And when someone tells them to chill out, they always jump to defend it. We're just messing around, but come on, it kinda looks like you two aren't really fans of each other. Story 32. When they start telling you what to rock or not rock with that sneaky vibe, like, it looks cute, but maybe it'd be better if it wasn't so short, or, so you're really gonna step out like this? Totally your call, though. Story 33. After checking this out, I'm really stoked about my partner and me. We were both flying solo and in therapy for a few years before we crossed paths. We kept it super real with each other, right from the jump. We've had to spend some time apart because of stuff like visa issues and just living our own lives. We share some hobbies and little rituals, but mostly we're just about loving each other and enjoying the freedom we have. No games, no drama, just two grown-ups doing life together. I really hope everyone who's looking for this kind of vibe finds it. Story 34. Ordering stuff for you without checking in first. Buying you clothes that vibe more with their style than yours without even asking. Gifting you things or experiences that seem more about their fun rather than what you actually want, all without a heads up. Taking over your drawer, counter, closet, or whatever without getting your okay first. Ignoring your specific request on purpose and doing or picking up something else instead. Without asking because that wasn't what you really needed. Showing up uninvited way more than what you both agreed on, especially at the start of a relationship without any notice. Basically just barging into my space without a thought and trying to make decisions for me. Being sweet is cool, but don't throw that over-the-top Hallmark nonsense at me like I can't think for myself or set my own limits. This is like a textbook case of someone totally missing the memo on basic boundaries. Buying clothes for someone without even asking? That's a bold strategy, Cotton. I can just imagine the surprise gift being a neon pink crop top when you asked for, I don't know, something functional. And taking over your space? Seriously, if I wanted to lose a drawer to someone else's stuff, I'd just invite a roommate in my life. It's like they think their preferences matter more than yours. Classic case of, I love you, but I don't really care what you want. Just communication, people. Is it that hard? Story 35. So, on our first trip together, my ex was basically my shadow the whole time. Seriously, it felt like he was a little kid stuck to my side. I had no personal space for those 2 weeks. It got so wild that he would just waltz into the bathroom while I was doing my thing, leaving the door wide open so he could just pop back in whenever he felt like it. I couldn't even catch a break until I got back home.